Now let's look at the foundations of the Illuminati, and I'm going to begin with this chart. It's based on what I believe, Lucifer and Satan. These are not all the same. There are different charts out there, so you can mix and match if you want to, but to me these are the most accurate ones. But there is something that I want you to be aware of at the end of this presentation, really that is the climax and the gist of the entire presentation. So please bear with this entire presentation to the end. Understanding now Satan and Lucifer at the top helm. This chart says that the papal bloodlines are the Roman Empire bloodlines. We have a black nobility council, and this is Jesuitism, the Jesuit council and the Jesuit order. Moving on to Zionism and the Rothschilds. Zionism is the establishment or the political establishment of the state of Israel. And there is a truth movement side on the occult side that is against this type of Zionism, and I can show you that. And then we have aristocracy and knighthoods. Moving on to secret services. So you can see the structure. Here's the Illuminati Brotherhood, CFR, and the Freemasonic structure. We put Ignatius Loyola at the top here because he is the Jesuit general. He is somewhere in this area. He is representing these bloodlines. And then we have the Rothschilds and Zionism. You see Mayor Amschel Rothschild. His sons, we'll see that a little bit later, who are in charge of the Vatican's money hoard, and that is the Swiss banking system. Their system now is the economy that we run on globally. This is Adam Weishaupt. He was a Jesuit priest, and he is attributed to founding the Illuminati itself. And the Illuminati itself is really this entire structure all the way up to the top level. Give me a control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes her laws. And this is Mayor Rothschild. And so governments are run by money. As Satanists, we were told that the Illuminati were very powerful satanic spiritual beings, which is not entirely false because the Illuminati is possessed by these beings. Now, Stephen Dolan's, you can look him up and what he believes, but I understand that to be true, meaning that possession is really the gist of it. The majority of, this is Manly P. Hall, the majority of modern mediumistic apparitions are but elemental creatures. His word for demons, masquerading through bodies, i.e. possession, composed of thought substance, us, supplied by the very persons desiring to behold. Okay, so these, not thought substance, us, but these bodies, demonic demons, that they are thought substance and supplied by the very persons desiring to behold these rays of decarnate beings, meaning they're not incarnate, they are decarnate, and people give them up to possession. And this is key to understanding this. And you saw in the previous part of part 1, demonic possession, these people do this, and it's like a drug. They want that power, and they give the spirits and the demons free reign of their body. Oh gosh, look at this chart now. This is Jack Chick. My mother gave this to me a long time ago. I didn't realize what it really was. Here is the Roman Catholic Church and the Jesuits, the Illuminati, CFR, the international bankers, the Mafia, which is the Hood Mafia, Club of Rome, Opus Dei, the Masons, New Age movement. Let me read this. The Catholic Church is the biggest financial power, wealth accumulator, and property owner in existence. She is a greater possessor of material riches than any other single institution, corporation, bank, giant trust, government, or state of the whole globe. The Pope, as the visible ruler of this immense amassment of wealth, is consequently the richest individual in the 20th century. No one can realistically assess how much he is worth in terms of billions of dollars. Okay, now, this is early on back in the 80s, and I believe that this white Pope that you see here is actually subservient to the Black Pope, which are the Jesuit generals. And the Jesuit council here, you see, are actually now supporting these bloodlines dating all the way back to the Roman Empire, and I believe all the way back to Babylon. So the elite have always been the elite in this sense. Now let's move on to this chart. I believe it is an accurate chart from what I see and what I've studied. Rome being at the helm currently. They have their fingers in everything. Here's the Knights of Columbus, secret societies, Rosicrucians, Jesuits. And you see Jesuits, you see here Yakuza, which is the Japanese mafia. And then you see Illuminati, Skull and Bone Society, Bilderberg Group. Yeah, sounds kind of, far-fetched, huh? Well, Knights of Malta and the CIA, and I'll show you that connection with one particular individual there, more than one individual. You see Knights Templar. You see here very clearly Rosicrucians, Knights Templar, Masons, Masonry, Freemasonry to Theosophists, Theosophy to Lucis Trust, and Theosophy to the New Age movement through Freemasonry, Lucis Trust, United Nations. So you can see the accuracy that I just showed you of this chart. And of course, look, the Nazi Party, European Union. Oh, there's a lot going on, and they are all interconnected. So I just want you to be aware of that. Moving on, here is Ignatius Loyola. You see the Jesuit logo, IHS. There he is. Look how they like to put halos on each other as well. Wow, what an organization. Global Jesuit Assistancies, they are global. Actually, Maryland, the state of Maryland in the United States, was named Maryland, Virgin Maryland, by Catholicism. And so you see who they are, all dressed in black for your consumption. Now, Blavatsky, and I don't like to quote from her, but you can take some truths out of it and just divulge information. It is curious to note that most of the bodies which work these, such as the ancient accepted Scottish Rite, the Rite of Avignon, the Order of the Temple, Fessler's Rite, and Grand Council of the Emperors of the East and West, Sovereign Prince, Masons, etc., etc., are nearly all offsprings of the sons of Ignatius Loyola, the Baron Hunt, Chevalier, Ramsay, Schutte, Zen, all these family bloodlines, and the grades of these rites worked under instructions from the general of the Jesuits. Just to show you. And of course, she's part of it, and she admires this rather than does not admire this. So this is just showing you bloodlines. Now looking at the supposed birthday of the Illuminati, at least the Colombian faction, it is said that its birthday is May 1st, 1776. That's why you actually have the 1776 on the bottom of the pyramid, when it is also the birth date of the nation. But May 1st is a satanic holiday. It is called May Day or Beltane's Day, and that's usually when they do the maypole pagan dance around. We look at Rihanna here in pop culture now, and she has Adam Weishaupt's image on her arm. And within a video, she's called the Princess of the Illuminati. So they are externalizing this idea of the Illuminati. They're not caring anymore. It really is in your face. And so if we go one more generation, we're really not going to care anything about this. The new generation will, because they'll be completely programmed into because of the media and entertainment doing this type of thing. We have, looking at the Rothschild dynasty, these are the 5 brothers of Mayer Amschel Rothschild who went out and established central banking using the Vatican Horde. So they are essentially lieutenants of this Vatican Horde, given charge of establishing economies this way. And this is what we see globally now, taken over the world, the establishment of this current fractional reserve banking economy. And so you can see here is the Rothschild emblem. Within that emblem there is a 6-pointed star up above as well. This is attributed to the fact that the Vatican and the Nazis were working together and hoarding money through the Swiss banking system. That Swiss banking system is completely private, so there is no transparency at all. United Bank of Scotland you can see here they use the papal keys, so does the United Bank of Scotland. I'm not saying that it is, but they are connected that way. The Swiss banks are the Vatican banks. And also you can see the checkerboard floor. This is an ominous image that they actually created a Vatican bank, so they're out in the open with an actual bank itself. So here we have a religious institution involved in that which they shouldn't be involved with, banking. Are you going to serve God or mammon? Mammon meaning money, and God is against this. So looking at the creature from Jekyll Island, this is the story of the Federal Reserve, and it was a story of them going to an island and planning the establishment of the Federal Reserve Act 1913 that was passed, and these are the men involved with that. And the prominent name here is John D. Rockefeller. You have J.P. Morgan, Schiff, and the Warburgs, and there are other families involved with this. Looking at this tells it all. This is a pyramid scheme. It is a Ponzi scheme, and it is printing money out of thin air. That is what fractional reserve banking means. You take a fraction of what you have and you loan out 90 plus percent of what you don't have. And so that is printed out and simply these days done with computers and numbers. So they use terms like quantitative easing. That's the latest term they used in pumping money into the economy. Quantitative easing, how easily decipherable that is to say that all they're doing is easing the economy by pumping money into it. And this can be further from the truth. Here is the establishment of central banking. If the people actually knew how simple it is to understand that the entire world's economy is debt-based, we're not buying debt at all because we can never pay back any debt. There is no interest at all in this system. There is interest tacked on to debt, but it's simply debt-based, and that is all. So it's fiat currency. It's monopoly money. And so if you own the system of monopoly money, then you own the world. And this is exactly what they do. They own the world. And so you can see the example of the amount of debt in the world, and what countries have the most debt are the countries that are the richest countries. It's just as simple as that. If we knew it, we would be up in arms that way. But of course, in my belief system, I'm not up in arms. I'm comfortable knowing that the world is going down and that there is a plan for all of this, a spiritual plan. We are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, conspiring with others around the globe to build a more integrated global political and economic structure, one world. David Rockefeller in his book Memoirs. So this is the Federal Reserve, World Bank, IMF, Bilderberg, CFR, Trilateral Commission, NAFTA, World Trade Organizations. All of these organizations are owned and operated, and we're meant to believe that they're all independent things, and everybody's fighting for it. They own everything. Now, one thing I did want to say is that if you're going to believe that your politicians in this nation, this is the United States, believe that are ignorant to how the economy works and that it's fiat currency, fiat based, I'm sorry, but I believe that you're being completely naive. These people know what they're doing. They know how the economy works. They know it's a central bank. They know it's fiat currency, and they simply just act their way into you believing, oh, we have a national debt, we have to pay off our debt. It is all slave-based. They are all playing the game. They understand it. They go back into the back rooms. They rehearse their speech for the masses. And I'm telling you, if it's in entertainment, it's in politics. Please don't be naive to thinking that your politicians are telling you how things work. They know it's a Ponzi scheme. They are in the ball game itself. And on the other note, you may have one lone wolf crying out there, i.e., like a Ron Paul of a third party or the Republican Party. And if you research Ron Paul, he's playing the game as well. His wife and his daughter are Freemasons. We can't confirm whether he's a Freemason or not, but when your wife and daughter are, it is very rare for you not to be. So understand that all of their people that even have a voice are playing the game, or else they don't have a voice at all. They don't even make it on television. That is my understanding and my research, and please understand that and go seek that for yourself. Now, going on to the Club of Rome, if the present trends, I'm not going to read this, but basically they're saying that we're in trouble if we don't control all of these factors. Pollution, production, yes, I understand. So they're trying to solve the world's problems, and their solution is a 10-region system, bringing this whole Babylonian New World Order together. It is the Old World Order now encompassing the New World Order, which encompasses the entire planet. North American Union, European Union, you have Japan here in its own economic power, but you see all of these regions, and there are biblical connotations to this in the book of Revelation as far as the number 10 with regard to these regions as well. So moving on, here is the Pope. You can see this ominous sculpture behind. It looks like Lucifer to me, an angelic being in a type of whirlwind. European Union signing was done at the Vatican. Here's Tony Blair here, and you can see that large sculpture of one of the Pope. I think that's Pope Innocent. Moving along, look at the currency of the European Union. Revelation 17, a woman riding the beast. And you can see that symbology. Now, woman riding the beast on currency. Magazine covers. A woman riding the beast. All of this having biblical significance, and they do this on purpose. Here's an old picture of the Tower of Babel. Here's NATO headquarters. I believe that's NATO headquarters or EU Parliament, one or the other. And then you have also Occupy movement. If you really research the Occupy movement was a UN originated movement, and we are to think that this is all grassroots. But look at the imagery of the Occupy movement of the woman riding the beast. And so look at also this European Union, Europe, many tongues, one voice, and the significance of that is the Tower of Babel. Look at the shape of the stars. You remember that tarot card pointing down. And then also look at this. These are blockheads. So you have conformed now to this world and this system. Look at the baby has the round head. This is an insult to us. So the baby is round head, has not conformed, and all of everyone needs to conform to the system. This is what they want. Kind of interesting. They have pyramids in the background as mountains as well. Look at the Tower of Babel symbology again at the EU Parliament building in that unfinished type of tower structure. And me as an architect understand that this is the case. Now here's that tarot card, and look at the shape of that the star in comparison. Moving along with the emblem of the 33rd degree and Ordo ab Chao, order out of chaos. You have this, Sapientia, S-A-P-I-E-N-T-I-A. Sapientia refers to the Constitution of the Vatican. You have the Solvent Cross, which is also a Vatican creation called the Solvent Cross. So you have this reference to Rome. And again, I show Napoleon with his Roman hand of power, sign of the benediction, and laurel leaf, and the Caesars wore the laurel leaf. What I'm going to tell you is that Rome has been continually putting on a face or a veil of Jesus, when in fact they're completely pagan. Finishing up this plate, let's look at this final chart here. And so you have the black popes. They are representing these bloodlines. And you have the Jesuit Council, Black Pope, White Pope, This is the old Black Pope, and this is the new Black Pope. And then I've also heard that there is a Gray Pope who we don't see. But anyway, we move along, and you see now Knights of Malta. This is Knights of the Order of St. John, and the Solvent Cross there. And then you have them here. This is the Knights of Malta, and you see the Maltese cross. You see this adornment with crown. You see that same adornment with crown on all of the degrees of the Scottish Rite. And this is the 33rd degree adornment, and you can see the similarity between the two adornments in that Scottish Rite. You can see the adornment inside the lodge as well, being that same type of adornment. They are one and the same. Rome is Gnosticism, is Knights Templar, is Freemasonry, and all the way through is Rosicrucianism. And you can see that same adornment. Now here's a double-headed eagle with the black and white dualism symbology, the eye of Lucifer, or the triangle emanating the Knights of Malta, or the Maltese cross. Now you see royalty being down on the list. They are actually owned by this Roman system, and they are allowed to reign, rule and reign their particular countries in this colonial Roman system. And now you see presidents and dignitaries way down on the list. Freemasonry. Freemasonry is simply a church for these guys, and there are high-level people that own corporations and run corporations and are allowed to be wealthy that run them. Knights of Columbus is the Catholic version. What they like to do is separate themselves from the other organizations and then create another sister organization like the Knights of Malta that are exclusively Catholic. And so here are the Knights of Malta way down on the list, and you see them in their pageantry sometimes. And these are usually people, they don't know exactly what they're doing, but the higher levels up in the organization are the ones that know what is going on.